Hello, you're welcome to my channel. I'm really excited to have you here. I'm sure you are new. I'm also new. Well, today I present to you the Amira cell phone bag. This is a brand new pattern that is just everything. I love it. Well, let me show it to you. You see this? It's a simple but stylish bag. I love the way the strap is connected to the bag. 4 knots. I don't get to see this often, so I really love this one. And it has this braid on the strap. Very cute and lovely. Um, the interior is spacious enough to contain a phone, a bifold wallet, keys, a little mirror, a lipstick, all those small things we like to carry around. It has a slip pocket and a card pocket. Yeah, and then it has a back pocket. The Amira bag is a fun and fast make. If you sew to sell, this is one pattern you should have, because you can sew a lot of it in a short time. And then another plus, it doesn't use a lot of hardware. I use only 2 zipper pulls. Only 2 zipper pulls for this. I think that's something to consider. The Amira cell phone bag also has the crossbody version, which is similar but different. It has 3 different decorative rivet arrangements. I did not use it in this one because I just love this tiger print like this. I didn't want to interfere with it. But let me show you the first one I made. This is the first Amira I made. You can see the rivets decor on it. This is one of the options the pattern offers. There are 2 others. I really love this bag. I've used this bag almost every day since I made this one about 2 months ago. It's light and very comfortable to wear. I hope you have a nice time sewing with me today. Please subscribe to my channel. I really crave your support, and I want to say thank you because I know you will support me. Well, let's get sewing. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate. Okay, so let's go over our pieces. This is the strap piece. I couldn't get one that is long enough for the strap. The pattern calls for about, I think, 82 inches. 82 inches by 2 inches. So this is not up to, so I'm going to add and join 2 pieces. I'm going to join 2 pieces to make it long enough. Then we have our zipper tape. This is the 6 inches zipper and 9 inches zipper tape. And here are the zipper pulls. I added this cuter scent to it. The zipper pulls, and then we've got, this is the zipper tab for the main zipper. This is also the zipper tab for the back pocket. I'm going to divide this into 2 this way. This is our connector piece. These are our contrast lining band. We have 2 of them. This is piece B, the exterior back top, the exterior back bottom. piece, and we have the front exterior piece. I'm not going to include the rivets because I think my material doesn't really need it. But if you want to do that, all you need to do is just to cut the rivet template, whichever one you choose. There are 3 of them in this pattern. You cut it, align the bottom edge to the bottom edge, align both bottom edges together and center them. Make sure they are centered, and then you poke holes through the dots on the template and then mark it. Align it. It's better to do it on the back side, on the wrong side, the wrong side of your exterior piece. You mark it and punch holes. Set your rivets. It's as easy as that. Then we have card pockets piece, 2 of them. This is the main lining piece. The main lining pieces, 2 of them. Then we have the slip pocket piece and the back pocket piece. That's all we'll be using for our bag today. This is a very fast and fun make. I'm sure you will enjoy doing it. So let's get started. We are starting with our strap. Just want to add to it to make it longer. This is our strap piece. So the first thing we're going to put, you lay your strap pieces this way, right side together, this way. The overhang here should just be about 1/4 of an inch. Then you're going to draw a line.
Folded long edges that I brought together.
Connecting these 2 points. This way. So I'm going to clip. And then sew on the line. I'm going to trim down my seam allowance, make it about 1/4 of an inch. Then the next thing, I'm going to open it up this way and make sure my seam allowance is lying flat, and then I top stitch using a 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Make sure it's flat. I'm using a 5mm stitch length to stitch the other side. So I'm done top stitching. So the next thing we're going to do, you draw a center line down your strap and then put double-sided tape on the line and then bend the edges to meet the line. Not really touching the line, but very close to it. So I did most of this off camera, but I just left a little part so that I can show you what I did. I'm just bending the edge to meet the middle line. But it's not really touching the middle line. There's a small space between both edges. This way. And then I bring the edges together like this and clip. I'm top stitching along the long folded edges, and I'm going to be using a 5mm stitch length. Take your connector piece and make a center line lengthwise. Add double-sided tape to the line, peel off the double-sided tape and fold the long edges to meet the line. Then you take your strap reinforcement piece, which is 1 by 5 inches. You just need to make it as long as the connector piece itself. I'm using satin ribbon. It's sturdy and thin. I just love it because it will give strength to your connector without adding bulk to it. So after doing this, the next thing I'm going to do is I need to replace that mid-center line. The center line has been covered by our reinforcement piece. So we're just going to replace it. I'm drawing a center line. And then I'm going to sew. I will fold the long raw edge to meet the center line. That's basically what I'm doing. And sew with 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. This is what I have after sewing. I'm going to just fold it in half this way and cut into 2. We have both connected pieces. So this is my cat pocket piece. The first thing we are going to do is to draw a line 1/2 inch from the bottom of the cat pockets. This way, you do it for both of them. I'm going to fold the edge, the bottom edge of my card pocket to meet this line. I'll do that for both places and press it in that position. These are my card pockets. I've pressed the edges this way. So the next thing to do is I'm going to put the right sides together this way and clip them in place. I'm just going to sew around the two straight edges and this curved edge. I'm going to sew at 1/4 of an inch, same allowance. Trim down the seam at the corners to reduce bulk. And turn. Then we turn it first side out. Make sure you push out all your corners. After turning my card pockets, I press out the seams. I can press it with iron. So I'm going to top stitch the top edge. I'm using 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. I'm taking one of my lining pieces and I'm going to be adding the card pockets according to the pattern instruction. I'm just going to align the centers, the center creases. And I'm going to use pin to pin it down in position. I'm just going to pin it down. Next thing I'm going to sew. Let me check. Okay, it's all right. So I'm going to sew along both straight edge, along all the edges except the top edge. And this is the slip pocket piece. I fold it right side together this way and clip in place. So I'm going to sew along the short edge at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Turn it to the right side. Press out my seams. I'm just going to finger press this time around. You can use the iron if you want to. And then I fold it. I folded it such that the seam is 3/4 of an inch above the bottom edge. Okay, let me iron it so that it stays nicely. So I've pressed my slip pocket. This is what I've got. So I'm going to top stitch the top edge. This is the bottom edge. I'm top stitching the top edge. So the next thing, I'm going to attach my slip pockets according to the pattern instruction. You see, so I'm going to sew along both opposite edges and the bottom edge. Okay, so I have my slip pockets and my card pockets attached. So the next thing to do is to attach our main zipper. So you take your main zipper piece, this is mine, and then I'm going to mark about 1/2 inch from one of the short edges. 1/2 inch from one of the short edges. This way. Just marking it. I'm going to open it. I'm going to open it this way, not all the way. Fold. I'm just going to pinch it at that mark, the 1/2 inch mark, and fold it to meet the zipper teeth this way. I hope. See what I'm doing? I'm going to use pin to hold it in that position. This is the second piece, the second side of the zip, folding it at the point we made the mark, the 1/2 inch mark, and fold it to meet the zipper teeth. So the next thing, I'm going to sew along this edge this way. Take the lining piece that has the pocket attached and make marks 1¼ inch from the top left and 1½ inch from the top right. So we are going to mark the opposite on the other lining piece. On the top left, on the other lining piece, I'm marking 1.5 inch from the top left and 1.25 inch from the top right. I hope you can see my mark. Now I'm going to separate my zipper this way, and then I'm going to place this angled edge on the 1.25 inch mark. I'm placing my zipper the right side up. I'm placing the right side up, and then I'm aligning the edges. Let me hold down this place with clip. So let me just clip it in place. Now when you get to this the 1.5 inch mark, you pin the zipper tape just on that point, exactly on that point. I'm just checking to see. I think this is the point. Yes, I got it. Do the same thing with the other side of your zipper. Place the angled edge on the 1.25 inch mark. Align both edges and hold them in place with clips while I place the pin on the 1.5 inch mark. Just checking to see it's really placed there. Yes, it is. Next, I'm going to sew. I'm using 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Now, once I get to the 1.5 inch mark, which is here, I'm going to pull my zipper tape out of the way, this way, and continue sewing. So I will sew for about 1/2 inch further, then I can stop. I repeated the same thing on the other lining piece. I think you can see that the placement is mirrored. So that's how it should be. So I'm going to get my lining band. Good. Okay. So I'm going to place my lining band. Now take note not to be careful not to place the top edge. It's the bottom edge you are placing on the lining piece, right sides together. I'm going to sew. I'm going to sew across. I'm sewing using a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Now the next thing is we are going to top stitch. We are going to top stitch on the lining, not on the lining band. And you push your lining, your contrast lining band towards the top of the bag this way, but the seam behind, you push it backwards this way. This is what you're going to have, and then you top stitch on the lining. It's very important, please take note of this step so that you get your zipper to be facing the correct direction. Doing the same thing, your contrast lining band towards the top of the bag, while the seam behind should go towards the bottom of the bag. So this is what we have. We're going to put our lining together like this. Now you need to match the points where your contrast lining band was joined. Match it up like this and clip. I'll sew the contrast lining band using a 3/8 of an inch. But once you get past this line at the top, gradually start moving to 5/8 of an inch. We're going to finish it with the 5/8 of an inch. Same allowance. So I'm starting with 3/8 of an inch. Okay, so I'll start increasing my sewing allowance, my seam allowance. Now, make sure you get your zipper tail out of the way so that your stitches do not catch the zipper tail. I can feel it that it is out of the way. Nice. So, I'm sewing the bottom using 1/2 inch seam allowance. Now we are going to box our bottom. Open the side and bottom seams, align them and hold them in place with a clip. Next, you are going to sew using 1/2 inch seam allowance. Do the same thing for the other side of the bag. Next, trim down your seam allowance to be a little less than 1/4 of an inch. We've completed the interior of our bag. This is my back bottom piece. My back top piece. I'm going to get my 6-inch zipper. Here it is. So I'm going to add my zipper pull to it. This is my zipper pull. And then the zipper pull to it. Okay. So I'm going to get my zipper tabs. This is my zipper tab. My zipper tabs. I'm going to put it, each one on the short edge, right sides together, like this. I'm going to sew along the short edges. So I'm going to sew along the short edges using 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. No. I'm going to open it this way. And sew using 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. So that's what I have. So the next thing, I'm going to find the center. Place a notch at the center. Okay. So, same thing here. Find the centers. I'm placing my zipper on the back bottom piece, the serial back bottom piece, right sides together. Next, I'm going to sew the zipper to the exterior back bottom piece using 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. I just stitch it. So the next thing, you take your zipper, your back pockets, piece, which is this, and place it on the exterior. On the right side will be on the wrong side of your zipper tip, but both right sides of the pocket panel and the exterior should face each other. Should be together. Face each other. Should be together. However you like to say it. Okay, so the next thing, I'm going to sew it. I'm using 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. I raised my presser foot up, but my needle is down, and then I'm moving my zip out of the way. Put down my presser foot, then continue sewing. This is what we have. I'm going to press out my seams. And then top stitch. Top stitching. Using 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Then I bring my pocket panel to meet the top, the other edge of the zipper tip this way. So I'm going to add my exterior back top. This is the top, this is the bottom. Let me find the centers. I'm matching the bottom of the exterior back top this way. And then I'm going to sew. I'm using 3/8 of an inch, seam allowance. Next thing, I'm going to push the exterior back top towards the top like this and top stitch. So I'm sewing using 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to base stitch these opposite sides. I'm going to trim off the zipper tab that is hanging out. I'm just going to trim it off. So let's go further. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to attach our connectors. Take your connectors, fold it in half this way, and then we're going to sew and stitch it to put it to keep it in that position. So I'm sewing stitching my connectors to hold it in this position. I just folded it enough, the wrong sides together. Next, I'm going to put it just at this point, the point where the zipper tabs are. So I'm going to place it on that point and be stitch in place. So the next thing, I'm getting my front exterior piece, which is this. I'll place them right sides together and aligning the bottom edges. And I'm going to sew the bottom. I'm using 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. So I'm going to open it up this way, open up the seams, and with my seams opened out and flat like that, I'm going to top stitch. I'm using 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. 1/8 of an inch seam allowance to top stitch the bottom. So we've top stitched our bottom. So the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to add our bottom reinforcement piece, which I've done already. Position it this way and fuse. Next, we are going to stitch our sides. Going to lay the front and back together, right sides excuse me, right sides together and clip. Okay, so I'm going to sew both sides. I'm using 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. We're doing this. So next thing is to bust our corners. I like to put my hand in this way and open the seams, align the bottom and side seams, clip in place. Do the same thing for the other side. And then we're going to sew. I'm using 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. And we'll repeat the same thing for the other side. So we've bust our corners. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to trim our seam allowance. I'm not touching the upper parts. I'm not trimming down the area where I fixed my connectors. Now, we're going to put double-sided tape on the 3/4 of an inch line we made earlier. And after that, you turn the bag. Push your corners properly. Like this. So I keep that aside. I peel off the double-sided tape, the backing of the double-sided tape. And then I fold the top edge to meet the line like this. I open up my seam and fold this way. Fold the top edge to meet the line. There's that. With this. Do the same thing for the exterior. Open up the seam this way. I like to start from the sides and then fold the top edge, the wrong sides together to meet the line. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put in my lining. I'm dropping in my lining. I'm going to make the side that has the slip pocket and the zip pockets, the card pockets, to go towards the back of the bag. I'm going to match the side seams. So I've done that, I match the other parts. So this is it. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to sew top stitch around the top edge. Now it's going to be difficult to do that from the exterior, so I'm going to fix it in this way and do it from inside. So I'm going to top stitch from the inside. I like to use some oil. It helps my vinyl to go smoothly. I'm using 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. When you are doing this, just be mindful of your bobbin thread, because that's what is going to show for your exterior. I didn't leave long threads so I can pull out at the end, but let me see. Look at that, lovely. Okay, so what's next? Next thing to do is to fix our zipper, our main zipper. Go to my second zipper pull, and I'm going to just attach it this way. I like to place it on my machine that way because it helps me to keep it in a steady position. And I just fix the zipper as I would normally do. I love it so much. Okay. Okay, what's next? Fixing our zipper tab. So I'm going to draw a center line. This is a center line. I really do not like my zipper tail long, so I'm going to trim it down. But when trimming down, you have to try not to make it too short so that it will be easy to fix your zipper tab. Or you can just trim it down as long or short as you want and use a metal zip end. That works also. So I'm just going to trim it down. Let's say, I don't know, maybe this should be about 1.5 inch. I'm cutting off about 1.5 inch for me. And then I place it this way. I place it, I center it on the zipper tab. This way. And then I hold down with clips. Then I'm going to sew along this edge. This is what I have. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to fold this way. This way. And then this way. You can just punch holes for rivet here and fix rivet, but I think I prefer to use glue. I'm just going to put glue on the wrong side. Let me get my glue. This is my glue. You need to let it dry a little. So folding it this way and this way. I need to apply glue here as well. Let it dry. Dry, dry, dry. Dry, dry, dry. Dry, dry, dry. Okay. I want to hold it in place with clips so that it can dry in that position. So while we wait for the glue to dry, let's fix our strap. So this is our strap, the one we made earlier. Let's fix it. So you take one of the loose ends and place it, put it through the connector this way. I'm going to measure 11 inch from the loose end, from this point to where the connector is, 11 inches. This way. Okay, so from that point we can tie our knot. And this is the way to do it. You make the loose end pass below the other part of the strap this way, and then you make it go round like this, and then you pass it through the loop. Then you pull it tight, pull it as tight as possible. This vinyl is actually a very bulky one, so you can see it really formed a thick knot, but it's not a problem. I love the look. I love the look. Okay, so now let us make our braid on the strap. You can actually make it any way you desire, but In the pattern, I suggested making it, measuring 35 inches from the loose end, and then I'm going to make the braid on this point. Measure them about 6 inches, right? So we are going to make the loose end. This is the loose end. If you know what I mean, the loose end. You make it go beneath the other part of the strap and come from top to bottom through the loop this way. So once you do that, you'll see that you now have 3 strands. So we'll begin to braid. I'm going to start with the left. So you cross your left strand over the middle strand this way, your right strand over the middle strand this way. Now notice that as you do that, your right strand, whatever strand you cross, whether left or right, it becomes your new middle strand once you cross it. So we'll continue that with our left strand over the middle. You see, our left strand now becomes our new middle strand. And because it is a strand also that has the loose end, we are going to also pass it through the loop this way. So we'll continue braiding that way. Our right strand over the middle strand, the left strand over the middle, our right again over the middle. Once again, it's the strand with the loose end, so I'm going to pass it through the loop. And then we continue, left strand over the middle, right strand over the middle. My vinyl is a bit stiff, but it's okay. And then the left strand over the middle once again. I'm just going to end my braid here because what I have left is quite small. No, can I end it here? Can I end it here? Oh no, it won't work. Oh, it will, but I will have to adjust to make my braid a bit loose, not so tight, to make the tightness uniform everywhere. So that's just what I'm doing. I'm just adjusting the tightness of the braid. Now take note of how you ended the braid. You end the braid by passing, when the loop has become really small, you end it by passing the loose end from top to bottom through the loop, just the normal way we've always done it. And that's that. We have our braid. Our braided strap is ready. Then you attach the other side, you tie the knot as you did the first time. You pass the loose end through the loop. I made the first one 11, so I'm going to make this one 11 again. From the loose end. The important thing is just to make it uniform. Whatever you do on one side, you need to do the same thing on the other side. And then you tie your loop just as you did. Your knot, I mean, you tie your knot just as you did the first time. You pull from the top and from the bottom. You pull until your knot is tight. And that's it. You have your bag ready. You can choose to also do it this way without any strand at the side, any extra at the side, if you want your strap to be longer. I did not leave any extra strand at the end this time around, so I'm going to repeat the same thing here. Just do it this way. Make sure it is tight. Your bag is ready. Your bag is ready. I think this should be dry. Now, if you like, you can put a rivet here. If you are not confident of the strength of the glue, you can punch a hole here and put rivets. That's that. Thank you for joining me today. It's always a joy to see your creations.